So we are on chapter 3-4. Let's go ahead, hit your worksheet up for today, and let you guys get started on your assignment, your in-class activity. So let's go ahead and start off with a few things. Let's start off with some review, right? So to review, what is netiquette, right? That is the acceptable way to communicate, the acceptable conventions on how to communicate and interact online, all right, when you are using the internet, right? We talked about what etiquette itself is, right? That's when you want to how you are supposed to act out in public, the correct format, the correct way you're supposed to eat, like if you go out for a nice dinner, stuff like that. Well, the correct way you're supposed to act overall is etiquette. So when it's netiquette, it's just the correct way to act when you're on the internet. What are some examples of bad netiquette, right? That is using like all caps on stuff, misspelling stuff, not checking your grammar, a bunch of different examples we looked at the other day. And so those are just some various examples of bad etiquette, right? Spamming people. What are some potential consequences of piracy? Think about what you see at the beginning of movies. I was about to say, I wasn't sure if they were all there. That is going to be the $250,000 fine and up to 5 years in prison. Who created the Caesar cipher and for what? So we talked about the Caesar cipher. I don't know in the video previously if I talked about what it was for. So make sure you guys do know that. The Caesar cipher was created by Julius Caesar, right? He's an ancient emperor, and what he used it was to communicate with his generals. So if you're thinking about the Caesar cipher, I think, he's an ancient general. They didn't have cell phones. They couldn't just be like, hey, like, this is where we're going to go beat these guys up at, right? No, that's not how that worked. All right, so he would send messengers, and if the messenger got captured, right, then they could be tortured, get the information out of it. So what he came up with was the Caesar cipher, where the guys he was communicating with, there would be a way to message and code, like, hey, there's a shift of, and then other people didn't know what the message was meant to say. Okay, so he sent that to send encrypted or encoded messages. All right, and then lastly, what is the only way to determine a fair use claim? That is a judge in court looking over the fair use guidelines. All right, now what you guys are going to be talking about today, or what we're talking about today, is a digital footprint. So a digital footprint is the collection of information, your first definition under the classroom activity. Digital footprint is the collected information about an individual that can be collected and put together by looking at their accounts across multiple platforms or websites on the internet. So an example of what you guys will be doing today, you guys can see on the screen here. All right, you guys are going to do your digital footprint, all right? But the idea of this is to think, what information can they get about me based off of what I post online, what I've shared, and things such as that. All right, so think about it. I want you guys to think, for example, Instagram, X, Facebook. What information what might have you given people already? All right, not even thinking about it. What information other people may have posted, right? If you take pictures with someone's friend or with a friend, and what might have they shared, right? That might give away your birthday, right? The name of your dog, your mom's name, her maiden name, things like that. And it's important because when you think about recovery passwords. If you get knocked out of an account, some of those might ask you, what address did you grow up on, right? Did you share your location? What's the name of your first pet? You got a picture of them online? Who's your best friend growing up? Right? Different things like that. Where did you graduate high school from? All of these are different things you probably have shared and are generally recovery password questions. Okay. So those are kind of things I wanted you guys to think about moving forward. Now, as you go through this, take your time, and I want you guys to think for each one of these, actually take your time to work through it, and think about, does your privacy matter? Do you care? All right. Would you share with your parent or guardian your favorite movie, your sibling, different things all the way through, right? Think about it. And fill this out. This is generally a pretty fun one in class to do together. But go through, take your time, and then continue on with that. All right. So as you do that, make sure you have listed out a couple of websites that have probably collected your personal information or you've shared stuff to. And think about, why is it difficult to control who sees that once it's published online? You never know when someone's going to take a screenshot, or if your ex blocked you, but your friend's still friends with them, right? And you want to still be snooped on, or they want to snoop on you. things like that. That information still might be there, easy to access. And what are some guidelines for safely publishing online? So different things to think about. When you go to publish online, always think, do you care who sees it? And the answer is yes. If you're not okay with everybody seeing it, don't post it because it's going to be there. Even if you delete it, it's probably going to be there somewhere, okay? Now, what is the purpose of copyright? All right, the purpose of copyright is it protects creators of original work. We've talked about this already. All right, so copyright protects creators of original work. All right, and then let's see, Creative Commons, that's your next one. What is the license that allows creators to specify exactly what permissions and restrictions are used for their creation? That is Creative Commons. So if you look here, if you ever see this across the bottom, it stands for Creative Commons, and there's different icons that go with it. So for example, if you see this abbreviation, that means the creator allows other to use it, but they have to give credit to the original creator, right? So if you wanted to use it, you could use it. If you see this, you just have to give credit where credit's due, right here. You can use it as long as you're not using it to make money. You can use it, but you want to share derivative works under the same license, meaning you've got to allow whatever you create based off recreating someone else. You got to allow someone else to do it. And then this one, you can use it, but there can be no modifications. Now, you can mix these up. So for example, this one is saying, all right, you've got to give credit. You can't use it to make money, but if you change anything, it falls under the same license, right? Same thing, people can't use to make money, so on and so forth. Okay? So look at a couple of examples here and consider that. And just to make sure you got it right, check the note slide here to make sure you get it right. Okay, take a second, go through these scenarios. Okay, we've already talked about these. So what you guys will be doing today, all right, make sure that's the end of your worksheet. You guys are going to be given essentially a blank foot. Okay, you guys are going to draw out the apps and websites you have provided different information, potentially sensitive information to, and draw out and represent your digital footprint. Now, this can include things like your Xbox account, your PlayStation account, profile, things like that. So what I want you guys to do is go ahead, do that, make sure you draw, color it in, and then you'll turn that in to the sub. All right, that's what you guys have for today.